And we're live on LinkedIn and YouTube today. Good afternoon. My name's Jim Miller, and this is Bright Business Talk, where we have purpose-driven conversations about business and life. And today I'm super excited. I've got a gentleman on the show that we're going to chat about some really purpose-driven activities in his career and his business and what he's doing to pay back and give back for future generations. He's an amazing man. Looking forward to meeting him and talking about what he's got going on today in his life. And just as a reminder, today's show is brought to you by the Bright Business Project at business.com. And you can go right there if you're a business owner or an entrepreneur and you're looking for that edge, that's something that you're just not getting right now, and you're looking for people to help you, experts and other business owners, to congeal your thoughts and stay focused and make your goals happen and bring your value into the world and your purpose-driven programs, bring life to those, then check out business.com. You won't regret it. I think you're going to love what we're doing, and we'll love to meet you and learn about what you've got going on too. So business.com, Bright Business Project. And thanks for bringing this show to everybody. And so here we go. Today I'm going to introduce Mr. Nathan Vincent. And there's Nathan. Hey, Nathan. Welcome to the show, buddy.
How you doing, Jim?
I'm doing awesome, man. So Nathan is, let's see, I'm gonna read a little bit of your bio. Nathan is a dedicated educator and consultant. He brings his unwavering commitment to his work in entrepreneurship, career technical education, and technology integration. Let's see, he's got a tenure at Real Journey Academies since July 2020, and you've been in the roles of career technical education department chair, externship, have to learn what that means, externship coordinator at Entrepreneur High School. And we're going to get into that in detail today too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exciting. And that's in Highland, California. And then let's see, since March 2019, Nathan's been the CEO and managing consultant at EQL Consulting LLC. And we'll learn a lot about what's going on there during our time together today. It's be about an hour, I think. And then let's see, your expertise is in business and technology training, cybersecurity solutions, and risk management assessments. And you've been instrumental in helping organizations optimize operations, enhance security, and improve operational efficiency. All good stuff. So let's see. Outside of your professional life, you are a family man with a wife and a daughter. Personal interests are basketball, history, culinary arts. I'm a frustrated culinary arts expert too. I love to eat, so I'm always cooking up something. I love to barbecue, so we'll chat about that today too.
Oh yeah.
And then and technology. Let's see. You've got your history is your parents were from Haiti. They immigrated to the United States from Haiti, and you speak English, which is tough enough, but also and Haitian Creole. So that's exciting.
That's it.
Wow, man. Well, it's an honor to have you on the show today, Nathan, and thank you very much for joining me. Tell me about when you were growing up with your parents and how your parents got to the United States, and what was that like when you were growing up?
Yeah, so my dad actually immigrated from Haiti some time ago. I even forget the dates or whatnot, but he immigrated when he was 30 years old. And before he did, he got married to Maurice Vincent. And that whole purpose coming to the United States was just like most immigrant families looking for a better life. And so as a result, he came out here. He was an engineer in Haiti. brought irrigation to his village, and so did good things there. But he felt he had to make an adjustment, and so as a result, he came out here. And then a few years later, his wife joined him in the United States, and that's when the legacy of having a family, and me and my two brothers in the United States, in northern New Jersey. That's where we ended up
Northern New
living.
Jersey. What in
Mhm.
that Jersey boy?
Yeah,
I was born
Jersey
in
boy.
Jersey. Doity
Oh yeah.
doity poiple boys, poich and a poich in New Jersey.
Oh, I hear that all the time. But
Well,
it's
where were you born? Was it like Camden County up north?
no, it's more Essex County. So I
Essex,
lived
okay.
in Orange, East Orange, Irvington, and then after I got married, we moved to Union, so about Union County. So
Okay.
that area. So
Fantastic. Yeah.
mhm.
Joyzy. So two brothers. Were you the oldest or youngest or middle or what?
Oh, it's actually I have two other brothers. So
Two
I'm
other.
the youngest of three.
Okay.
Hmm.
All right.
Yeah. So it was when you have boys, man. I mean, weren't in the best neighborhood, but we had each other. So we had a lot of experiences growing up. Just my dad instilling values in us, and we've gotten into enough little troubles that we had, but we pretty much stayed close knit to the family and didn't veer too far off of what our dad wanted us, or how our dad wanted us to be. So
So what did he help you? How did he help shape you and who you are today?
he put a emphasis on education, and an emphasis on the importance of making sure as a man taking care of your family. And so one of the best ways to do that is to go to school. So we ended up going to school, whether it's a technical school. I went to get my 4-year degree. My brother he went for engineering, and it's an interesting dynamics, because when my dad got here, um, for whatever reason or another, the engineering degree that he had from Haiti wasn't sufficient for him to practice engineering in the United States. So he ended
What
up
kind of
going
engineering was? What kind of engineer was he?
civil engineering.
Ah, okay. All right.
Yeah.
So that's building roads and bridges
Exactly.
and that kind of thing.
Yeah. So he ended up coming here, and they're not accepting it. So he went to school, Essex County College, went to a CTE program for a machinist. So he ended up going there and working with his hands as far as doing machining. And on some level or another, all three of us kind of emulated one aspect of his career in regards to working with his hands. So my brother graduated from Stevens. He went to become a civil engineer, although he's not doing that now. And then my other brother ended up becoming a mechanic, and that's kind of working with your hands. And then he went to school here. He started in CT, but ended up completing all the math because of engineering. Ended up becoming a math teacher, and he's the one that kind of directed me to go into education, because that was interesting. Because he told me, he said, why, when I was in the flux, I was supposed to be a physical therapist. I was set on being a physical therapist. I wanted to work with NBA players and help them get better and all this other stuff, because I love basketball. And so, from seventh grade on to junior year in college, I was set on becoming a physical therapist. And then I kind of lost steam and lost the love for it. And then I was kind of at a crossroads, and my dad said, "You should just go and get your substitute teaching credential. Just do that. You can always there's always a need for teachers, and you can do it anywhere, right?"
Hmm.
Fast forward to 2024, and I'm been in education for 25 years. So it's like those kind of words of wisdom he gave me kind of really help and shape and mold, you know, a lot of the things that I do and how I approach life, and taking care of my career and taking care of my family in general. So I'm very thankful for his impact in my life.
Yeah, that's great perspective. So yeah, fast forwarding to today, you're now um, a team member at the let's pull it up, the let's see, that Entrepreneur High School.
Hmm.
Tell us about that experience. How did you get there, and what was it that inspired you to want to be working with kids like this? Because
Jim, so 2019, my daughter was born, and so it's our first child, and my wife was, that motherly instinct. She wants to be back in California and raise our daughter around her family. That was her, her thing. And we had a lot of discussions. There was a little tension, simply because as a husband, you want to provide for your family financially, and then with her, she wants to take care of her, raise our daughter in this environment around her family. She loves Jersey still, just like I do, but that was her, her motivation. And so once we made that decision as a family to relocate, I was at that decision tree of whether I should continue in education or not, because I actually had left the classroom. I was doing information. I was an information technology manager for Irvington Public Schools. So at that school, I was managing the website. I was managing, systems, the learning management systems, the various, student information systems too. And so, part of a team there, and I loved working there for that all the time. I tenured, a lot of time there, and now I have to make an adjustment. I have to relocate. And so, putting in those plans, next thing you know, I find myself, having to look for work in California. So, I'm debating whether I should want to stay in education, because I think, the test culture in education is one of the things that kind of, I'm a little bit averse to it, because there's so many different metrics you can use to help students, and to talk, to show that students are, competent, and competently educated, as well as capable of surviving in the economic environment. And so, I was like, should I actually go back into education? And I was given an opportunity to interview with Real Journey Academies, Entrepreneur High School. And that piqued my interest, because entrepreneurship is one of the ways where you can go into a career opportunity and it's your career. It's something you created rather than relying on someone else. And I think a lot of that agency has been taken away from students, because they're just not, they don't know about the financial literacy needed to be an entrepreneur. They don't know about how to go about it, the mindset, all of those things that are important for them to survive. And you can be entrepreneurial in your career. So those skills weren't taught. So I saw that as an exciting opportunity for me to take that on. And so when I interviewed, after the first interview, I was more or less sold on me going back into education in this capacity. And so I don't know if I would work for any other school district or any other education environment outside of this. I mean, it's been an amazing 5 years. I guess this is my 5th year in there.
goes fast, doesn't it?
Yeah, oh my gosh, I came in, my daughter was like just a little thing in her hand, and I can hold in my hand, and now she's out here telling me, correcting me in Creole, the little Creole that she knows. So it's just amazing how fast things go. Next thing you know, I'm a blink and she's gonna ask for the car keys. Like,
Yeah, right. Well, that's happened to me. I tell you what,
my
I got a little granddaughter now, but
wow.
both my daughters are out in living their lives, both married and families. So it goes so quick. Enjoy every moment that you get.
Yeah,
For
my
sure.
daughter's a bundle of joy, man. I mean, that's one of the, it's an amazing opportunity. It's an amazing, um, you know, it's an amazing blessing to have a daughter and to have a child in general, because you're stewarding over their life and you can't control anything that they're doing. The only thing you do is just kind of shepherd them in a way where it's good and you could just have that impact. That's the only thing you could do. That's the only thing I see it. I just want to make sure I set a good example. And as a family, we set a good example for her to do things, and for her to grow. Hopefully, it works out that way, because you can never predict. You can only just lay a good foundation and hope that they make a decision to continue to follow.
Mm, yes, for sure. What inspires you to be in a position to help young minds to grow, to to be different, to step out of the norm? Because just I think it sounds like enrolling in the entrepreneur high school is different. I mean, you're not normal in a good way. But
No.
explain that. Who who are the students there? Can you share some stories of some of them, some of the the challenges they've faced and hurdles they've overcome and things that they've achieved?
Hmm. That's a great question. Typically, our students that we get are students that have um, they had a lot of times they've had troubles in other schools, not because they're troubled children, but they feel that there's a different pathway that they should take. Uh, we have students that are amazing backgrounds, and some of them are academically inclined, very, very academically inclined. And there's some that are not academically inclined, but just intelligent. And sometimes, and like I said, with standardized testing, it it pigeonholes a certain group and a cohort of students. And in my time, I've come to like do personality tests with students. A lot of the students that are academically competent and excellent, many times they're not extroverts, so they won't go in front of an audience and talk to people. And the students that are quote unquote labeled bad, rowdy students, those are the ones in immediate they will go in front of people, or they will be very, very extroverted and talk. So you have to understand how you're educating each individual student. It has to be very curated towards the different students that you have. If you have that factory model of education that everybody sees on TV, where you have rows and the teachers in the front and they're telling all that stuff, that doesn't work. And that's why you're having a lot of problems in education because of that. And so at our school, we have the traditional academic setting that you can't avoid that, but that's not at the forefront. That's kind of cooperative with our career and technical education. So you'll have students, doing the academic aspect, but in that academic aspect, they're taking on entrepreneurial things in general. And we're trying to do more of a blend of that as we're growing as a school. Because our school our school in Highland is only 7 years old. Um, the ribbon cutting for our Fontana locations is happened in 2022. So it's very, very new
Mhm.
environment and a new schools altogether. And so we're continuing to grow, but just like entrepreneurship, it's complex. There's different working parts and pieces you have to understand. So helping those students is actually putting tangible projects in front of them. Like, for example, you'll have we had a student that basically told his parents he's going to drop out of school to pursue a career in marketing and building website and SEO. And if he doesn't go to our school, he's going to drop out. You see the type of
Yeah, okay. Yeah, it's like, dude,
that's
whatever,
that
shut up. I'm
you
doing
see
this.
how purposeful,
Good for
driven
him.
that student is. So when he came to the school, he didn't end up with me. Actually, one of our academics teachers are kind of, because we're a pretty tight knit group, and so we speak to each other. And he said, "I have a student here that has his business, and he's not wavering. He's not even trying to pass classes. He's just here so that he can get knowledge in video production, which is one of our e-pathways."
How old is
And
he?
17.
Beautiful.
So we sit down and talk. And I said, at the very least, get a C, because you need to have a C. I understand if you're not academically inclined. He had a D in the class. I told him, get a C so you can make sure that you fulfill the minimum requirements. So that way you can get into our business accelerator program. So he does that, and now he's in our business accelerator program. And the conversation, this guy is well read. He reads entrepreneur books for inspiration. He's not following the traditional route. That's the type of students we have. We have some students. So we have another student, she's on a website. She's actually one of our assistant coaches for cheerleading coaches for the school. So this student, she ended up starting a business in junior year, for our Business Incubator Program, how we originally had it. Got into our Business Accelerator, and so she started off having a cafe, but her other two partners, for some reason or other, decided they didn't want to continue, and she had a crisis of what she wanted to do in our Business Accelerator Program, because the purpose of the program is for you to actually continue to build your business and have it to be completely viable by the end of the year.
Mm-hmm.
And so, in interest, revenue, MRR, that type of thing. So we sat down, we discussed it. She ended up rebranding.
So MRR, just for our audience, MRR is monthly recurring revenue, right?
Yeah, that type
Yeah.
of thing.
Yeah. Okay, so you got some key metrics that you're tracking.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because every business, in order to stay still, you're always chasing customers. So some customers, you don't necessarily want customers, you want clients. So we discussed that in class, and she already was tutoring students in dance and teaching them dance moves, and she ended up turning it into a dance school. And so not only that, but she ended up going to getting accepted to University of Laverne for exercise kinesiology. So eventually her name, the business is going to be basically a school, but also targeting health and targeting, getting into better shape and eventually bringing back what was there, but down the line. So these are students that are totally different, but they work hard. She's excellent academically, but her passion is more in the business aspect. And so why are we not targeting that? I have no idea. That's a conversation for another day. But ultimately at our school, we want students to develop the E mindset. So in our school, there's a lot of E, and the E has to do with entrepreneurship. So it's the E model, we have the E mindset. Entrepreneurial mindset is basically, you can say the E mindset is our MVP. We don't expect all of our students to graduate with a business, upon, receiving their diploma. But we want students to exemplify what it has to have an E mindset. And if you follow the E mindset and the E skills, you are a valuable individual in any business, anytime, anywhere you go. So there's various things, and you'll see the E, if you go to the website, I believe the E skills are there.
Yeah. So the E skills, let's see, I'm looking at the website. Don't see it. I'm sure it's there. Compliance. You've got so much going on there. Who pays for that? Does the state pay for that at all? Or is it federally funded, or is it all private donations, or how's that work?
Oh, we get multiple revenue, but essentially we're a charter school. And so what that means, a charter school is a privately run, publicly funded school. So that means any student can attend the school. If it's, and we're located in San Bernardino, Highland area. And so, and with the other location is Fontana. And so we get public funds, and the riff on charter schools, they're no good or anything like that. I don't believe in all of that. I believe there's good schools and there's bad schools. There are underperforming charter schools that, their people are money hungry, and then you have underperforming public schools where they're not doing what they're supposed to. And then you have excellent charter schools and you have excellent public schools. I just think it's based on if the school fits the profile of the students. That's the most important thing. A lot of times there's this kind of fight. Oh, well, there's a scarcity thing. Oh, they're taking all of our students. You're going to lose those students if you don't take care of them in a public school. If you're bloated and you have too many students and you're not reaching them at their level, there's opportunity and collaboration for all students to have a space and a place, and schools to have a space and a place. That scarcity mindset should go away. Charter schools should be supported if they're being run properly. And with us, we not only do we get public funds, we write grants here at the school. We make sure we have an excellent grant writing individuals here at our school. We have excellent people running the school, and so, like, for example, at the one of one of our executive directors, Mike Padilla, he was originally from the original Patino School. We have one of our chief academic officer. He's originally from Chicago, and he's actually my first interview. Randall Josserin. And he sold me at the beginning when my first interview. I was like, oh yeah, I'm all in with this. It's just a matter of, making sure that it was the right fit and I interviewed with Mike Padilla afterwards. And after that one, I was sold, because it's about people. When you think about businesses, any organization is based on having good people, not perfect people, because that's not going to happen. It's having good people. Good people are what makes organizations go. They can run an organization with paper clips, glue, and a pencil, rather than you can have a computer with all this type of tech and you have people that are not qualified. You just need good people in place to run an organization. And, that's what we look for. We look for good people as far as working at the school. And we look for good people as far as students that to encourage them to come to our school, because it's choice. They decide whether they want to come to this school or not.
What's your role there? What is it that you get the most? What gets you up in the morning to go do this?
And just providing the best opportunities for our students. That's what wakes me up in the morning, because when I'm driving in, and I get on the 210 and I'm driving, when I get off our exit, it's not the best environment where I'm driving into. And you see, a bunch of, a lot of unhoused individuals all over, California. And I'm not really used to this. And we had unhoused individuals in New Jersey, but to the level that I've seen it out here, it's a lot. And I always wonder, there's such a shortage of people. And, we need people in cybersecurity, or there's a need for people in this industry or that industry, there's need for nurses. They're out in the street. They're homeless, or they're unhoused, they're homeless, they're whatever you want to call it, whatever semantics. The talent of those individuals are constantly overlooked because of what they look like. And sometimes it's difficult to peel back those layers because they're in such a state. So it's easier to deal with the problem before it becomes a problem. Ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. So that means if you put at least an ounce of effort into our youth, that can solve a whole lot of problems down the line. That's what wakes me up in the morning. When I see the students, I make connections at our school. And I talk to students who may not be doing what they're supposed to. Those are the ones that end up being in the streets if we don't address them immediately with realistic expectations. Oh, you're going to go to 4-year college. You don't have to go to 4-year college to have success. You really don't. Especially nowadays, you don't. You have to have skills. You have to have ability to solve problems. If you can do those things, there's a lot of good you can do within your community. But what's been shown is that, we have to go to college. They don't see any other options. So as a result, that's why they end up that way. So what gets me in the morning is hopefully whatever impact I have with the students that we have at our schools, to show them that there's a way. When they get that diploma, it's not like staring out at the abyss. What do I do next? Ensuring all of our students have all the options in hand. So at our school, it's either, students have 3 paths. You go to college, get a job, start a business, be a boss. That's what the original mantra for the students. That's essentially what they're going to do. What jobs, what careers are provided? So I'm passionate about making sure that our students have those options. But in addition to that, my role is the externship coordinator. And so my job is to connect the public with our students. So whatever external opportunities, whether it's business opportunities, internship opportunities, apprenticeship opportunities, I connect our students with those opportunities. We do have an event that's coming up on November 15th, and it's something that I've started for the past 3 years. I realized that the public doesn't know what we do here. So what can we do to bridge that gap? So the website that we use for the people to register is ehighexpo.com, and that is our event website. And
Spell that
that
for me. Spell that for me.
EHIGH expo.com.
Okay, so I'm gonna hang on a second. All right.
Yeah. So
Okay.
so at that website, that's where all of our students get an opportunity to connect with the public, and the public gets a chance to register to go to our event. We had an event that was fantastic on November 1st at our Fontana campus. We have our event this Friday at our Highland campus. And essentially, we're teaching our students, every single one of our students, the ability to network. Networking is an amazing and important activity for anyone to have success. The days of you going onto a job board like Indeed and getting a job, the opportunities are slim to none because they're being, bombarded with robo email resumes. You have to make connections with people.
Yeah, it's really not who you know. Used to be, my mom would say, it's who you know, but it's not. It's who knows you.
Yes. Yeah. And so we have plenty of professionals that I've networked with. We've developed relationships, and we speak to, and there's a lot of fantastic people out there in Inland Empire that's share the same goals of wanting to connect with students, but sometimes they don't know what venue to go to or how to connect, and no one's acting as the quote unquote middleman or the coordinator of this. So that's my role, which I take very seriously. So I'm at all types of events, whether it's golf events or mixers or off hours, doesn't matter, to really connect our students with the public. Because once they see the talent that we have at our school from a high school level, they recognize that there's so much potential there, but they won't see it if they're not in that space. And we have a responsibility to provide the ability for businesses to come into that space, and we have to respect their time too, because they're in the process of making money to provide for their families. And not only that, if they're even a larger business, they have a staff that relies on them. So we want to make sure that it's an available venue that they can make it, and we give them enough leeway time, and they don't have to be there for the whole time. It's from 2 to 5. If they're there for an hour or two to talk to our students, to network, our students, I've spoken to already 3 of our graduating, or not graduating classes, our current classes, our sophomores, our freshmen, no, our sophomores and our seniors already, and our juniors. I've spoken to them already about these are individuals that you want to connect with, and especially in a low socioeconomic environment, many of them don't have professional connections. They don't have a network of people they can speak to.
Mm-hmm.
That, who they're going to speak to as professionals. A lot of them, they just know that, oh, I'm just going to try to get a job at McDonald's, or I'm going to try to get a job at Stater Brothers, which are not bad jobs at all. But many times they can't even get that job if they don't have a connection with the people that's there.
Right.
And so if they don't have the skills to be able to communicate, so we're trying to supercharge that E mindset. And part of it, 2 of our E skills are interviewing and storytelling. So
Mm.
part of the lesson that we have with what I had with our students is I'd go in, I'd tell them, you have to ask questions, but you also have to have a story to tell about what your aspirations
Oh,
are.
God, music to my ears. That's fantastic. I love hearing that.
Yeah. So,
I
so
love
it's
stories. And
yeah,
everybody loves stories.
yeah. And some of our students got some great individual stories about what they want to be and why they want to be that.
Mm.
But it's not pulled out because it's not asked of them, or sometimes it's required of them to write it. And some students are not comfortable writing, whether they don't like their penmanship or they're not the best writers. But we have to provide opportunities for them to do it verbally. And sometimes it requires a conversation like, them, speaking to university professors, talking to CEOs of companies, have them have that conversation. So
Great
they need
experience.
to have that forum. And, that's one of the reasons why I'm passionate about this event. And this is our small expo. This is just the two purposes of this expo. One is uh, to actually have our students find work opportunities for our seniors. So our seniors, the second semester, they get a chance to work um, during the school day. So they get 100 hours for the summer, not for the summer, for the second semester. And they get a chance to uh, work with businesses, local businesses, and so that they can develop a work experience, because we already give them a work experience. And that work experience on campus, they work in a print shop, or they work in a commercial kitchen, or do retail. We have a store on site. We have also the ability for them to work in a studio. And these are different experiences they have. And we produce different types of marketing materials for various companies. We've done commercials for restaurants. Uh, we do all types of things. A lot of our stuff in house. We don't even outsource our uniforms. Everything, a lot of the things we make in house. My business cards are made at our Fontana campus, and our students do that. Our students are part of that process. So we want our students to get that work opportunity, so that now when they graduate from high school, they have on their resume, which they work on first semester. All seniors are supposed to work on their resumes that first semester. So they'll have a resume with two work experience, one coming from Panther Enterprises, another one coming from Toro Enterprises if they're at the Fontana campus. And their second work experience hopefully comes from a local business that decides they want to give a chance to give hopefully a paid internship, but just an internship for our students, so that they can actually demonstrate the skills that they've learned going to our school.
Beautiful. So you're inviting, this is the event coming up right here, right? November
Yes.
15th, 2 to 5 p.m. And
Hmm.
any who would want to know about this? A business owner, what kind of business owner would want to know about this?
So we're looking for local businesses. We're looking for professionals to come to this event. Basically, any professional in this Inland Empire that wants to connect and do their part to speak life and speak wisdom into students would participate and come to this event. We want them to share their stories about why they got into that career, why did they start a business, what challenges they faced. And we want them to interact with our students, to ask them questions about what they want to do. Because some of our students don't know. Some of the students already have a plan of what they want to do. So they want to see professionals so that they have a tangible person that they can look at and say, if I want to be a nurse and I'm speaking to a nurse, I want to have that connection with that nurse. And so now they can have to continue the conversation. I'm going to school, I'm going to nursing school right now, and just continue that whole process. If you're wondering why do people hire individuals? Sometimes it's not based on completely on qualifications. It's also based on if they know that individual. Can they trust that person? Can they take a chance on this person? Or would they rather stick with someone who actually has demonstrated those skills and they've seen it with their own eyes? That's why references are so important. That's
Mm.
why recommend letters of recommendation are so important, because that's someone else vouching for them. What better letter of a recommendation comes from the person that actually sees that individual do what they do and want to bring them in? So this is a space where we can kind of show what our students are capable of and who they are. And so we bring all types of individuals here, and we don't limit it. As you've seen, we've had people. We have the military come in. We've had colleges. We have colleges there. All types of aspects, so that our students get it. So the purpose of this event is really to connect our students with what they want to do after graduation, and it doesn't matter what grade level. So now they can start coming up with ideas. I'm a lover for you. Sorry. So
It's all good.
yeah.
Oh, that's
So
fantastic. So I remember I went through in college at Cal Poly in San Luis Obispo. Everybody who graduates from that school has to do what's called a senior project.
Mm-hmm.
And they had at that time a cooperative education program as an undergraduate, and I took advantage of that, and it helped me so much because I actually worked in industry before I got my degree. And so when I did graduate, I not only got my senior project done, which is like a mini thesis project. I got that done. I got an A on it, and I got paid to do it. And I got some excellent references, and ended up getting a job afterwards based on all of that work. That was really good, much higher than the normal that would get out of school. So it got me launched, and I invested about a year, a little less than a year total. I did two stints as a co-op, junior year and senior year, summer, mostly summer. And it was one of the best decisions I've ever made. And what you're doing is taking that experience and moving it earlier, even still. And I love that. I absolutely love that. It's so beneficial for those. And you know what? I wasn't the best student, but I worked. I worked, and I had the drive, and I really wanted to succeed. And so, and people saw that. You know, I didn't get the best grades, but I really loved what I was doing. I was passionate for what I was doing and where I was headed, and people saw that, and they gave me opportunities, right? So, and that's what you're opening, I think, the door for businesses to see this and to find young minds, young people who have that drive and who may not be the best students. Heck, the business industry is replete with hundreds of very successful people who dropped out of college.
Yep.
They weren't great at school.
Oh yeah.
And you know what? You don't have to be great. If you are, fantastic. You know, like my daughter, she's a nurse, and she was always really good at school. And so now she's working as a critical care ICU nurse in the cardiac unit at Scripps. And, you know, amazing, very, very smart academically, and, people skills. But some people just aren't that way. But they have the drive, and that shows up early. When I'm doing my interviews, I find that a lot of entrepreneurs show up 9 years old, 10, 11, 12 years old. They start getting that bug, I was like, I'm going to go start a business. And it starts really simple, but they have the drive to stick with it. And I love that you guys are taking that the step further and really giving opportunities to people who want to. And it's not a force. It's not a have to.
Oh.
They're there because they want to be, right?
Yes, absolutely. And they're given opportunities to the businesses that they start. The students have to pitch this time around. They have to pitch twice before they get invited into the business accelerator. So It's not all the students that are running a business on campus. And it's
so you got to really be on your game to really get into the program. So
they have to desire it. They have to show like initiative, like, okay, you're going to pitch, and then you're going to pitch a final time. And this time around, we've actually revamped the curriculum again, so that way they do a fast pitch the first semester, and then they do a final pitch at the end of the year after they get into their business incubator. So the purpose of our first semester, they take a class which we call business communication and entrepreneurship. They're coming up with their BMC at the end of the first semester of junior year. So they pitch what that is in their business. And then at the end of this, if they get accepted, they get into their, which we call the business incubator class. By the end of that one, they're supposed to have an MVP, something that is tangible that they can sell. And so part of that whole process, we have our second expo. And our second expo, we haven't disclosed the exact date. We will soon, but usually happens late April, early May, where we opened it out. We was able to receive a grant from the Janet Suguchi Foundation, and they gave us a nice grant so that we can give our students money to create their MVP and basically run a business, or sell some products or whatnot. And so during our expo in the fall, last spring, we had 22 or 23 student business tables. It was like we had a total of 60 tables in our campus. It was an absolute sight to see. We had students who are, clothing labels. Students were selling, some had a business where they did upgrades on on their car, all types of things. A lot of food businesses, delicious stuff. But here's the part that really gave me goosebumps. At that expo, three of our tables on the other side, where because there's a entrepreneur row in one side of our atrium, the other side has the outside businesses and vendors that come in and want to, whether they want to show students about programs or work opportunities. But three of those businesses were former graduates of our school, taking on entrepreneurship after graduation, realizing that is something to be done. And they that gave me goosebumps whenever I see that, because you see things come full circle, and it's like we had an impact. We showed them that, and having a business doesn't have to be something huge. It can be something that allows you to have an additional revenue stream. They say you got to have a side hustle. Sometimes you have to have that. That's making ends meet is important in today's society, because we know how the state of economy, inflation, and how it's just gone out of control. How do we working more hours doesn't necessarily solve that. That's why you need to have some type of business where you can control and scale so that it meets the needs of whatever you're trying to take care of. And that's part of the reason why when I talk to my students, they have to have some type of business aspirations. I'm not speaking it from a standpoint of, do as I do, not as I say. Or do as I say, not as I do. I'm sorry, I got that whole phrase wrong. But I have my own business. I do consulting on the side. I have clients in addition to going into work, because that additional aspect of what you have is important so that you can, handle and have a purpose behind what you're doing. And
Speaking
so,
of which,
yeah, that's my website, which still needs work, but essentially that's what I do. I have experience in business consulting and cybersecurity. So essentially, what I do is help businesses deal with the certain challenge that they have. I also do some teacher training using augmented reality with this company called ZSpace. So I do that type of education consulting. But I was doing that for a bit, since 2019, helping small businesses develop what they need in regards to cybersecurity. And sometimes the cybersecurity aspect goes in line with business, because I've done everything from, I used to do multi-level marketing. I would do, I had a culinary company. I was a private chef and did parties for people. I did a pop-up restaurant while I was doing that. So a lot of those businesses, you say you go from one business to another, the skills are transferable. The skills are transferable. The experience is the most important part. It's not about, whether how far you got with it. It's more so about, did you do it? Because a lot of times people have analysis paralysis. They just like, I'm going to start a business, and then they don't do anything with it. You got to do something. And so when I took on this company, when I started a company, that was around the same time when my wife was pregnant, and we was expecting our first child. And I knew that the culinary thing wouldn't work because of the time constraint that I would have. And so I was looking for something that was a bit more, I can control the time and space and place where I do business. And it happened at the right time, because some of my clients are actually in New Jersey and I'm in California. So I can do a lot of my business remotely. And I felt consulting was the best space, and especially with technology. And so that's why I do this. And I'm pretty passionate about cybersecurity, because I was victimized a couple of times And it bothered me because here I am. I graduated a degree in software and IT systems, and I'm getting scammed like that. Like, how is that possible? And FBI calling me like, we know that you like, we just want the emails. That's like, what? It's not my fault, officer. So, that's what happened to me. So when that happened, when I got the call that I was being, used as um, essentially a patsy for another organization that was scamming credit cards and purchasing items and shipping it around, I never shipped anything. They just used my name. And so when they caught wind of their investigation, I was part of it. They knew that I wasn't part of it, but they wanted to know who sent emails to me, and they wanted the evidence for forensics purposes. So I sent all the things over to them, and they said, do not email them again. I said, you ain't got to tell me twice. So I did that, but I started reaching out to people who were involved in cybersecurity at the time. And it was very, very early at that point. And they just told me certain things, what to look for in regards to if you're looking for work from home, opportunities, what to do that. And it just sent me through a rabbit hole. And I just started going through, looking at cybersecurity, reading up on books and finding out more about cybersecurity. And I said, how did I not know about all of this? And I ended up, because of that, starting that. And I got registered with a couple of companies to be a authorized MSP. So I sell their products, got certified with Sophos, and basically helping businesses to get the proper endpoint protection, doing some remote administration for them, checking to make sure their computers are working right, giving them classes. I really specialize in the education part. Because going back to what I said earlier, it's not about what programs you have. It's about people. Are your people trained? Are they trained properly about getting hacked and stuff? And I went to one of the networking events I went the other day, and they were talking about sending, text messages to candidates for work opportunities. And I said, yeah, that's okay, but that's kind of sketchy. If you had that, you get the, if you don't have that relationship with that individual, because there's no way to, a lot of phones, computers usually have endpoint protection. A lot of phones, even though we have endpoint protection for phones, a lot of people don't put them on their phones. And so as a result, you click on a link, your computer, your whole phone is compromised. A lot of people, their whole life goes through their phone. So imagine getting locked down, and you can't get access to it by ransomware unless you pay $500, and they may or may not unlock your phone. That's crazy. So you have to be cognizant, and only if you're properly educated in the basics of cybersecurity where you'll feel you can be protected. And I don't think people quite understand how important it is. It's just as important as knowing when when you're growing up as a child, you need to brush your teeth, wash your hands, don't eat candy off the floor, those type of things. That's hygiene from a physical standpoint. Cyber hygiene is extremely important, and people are not getting that regular education. That's would be part of the bullying aspect. That's part of it too. The cyberbullying, all of those things are part of that cyber hygiene thing, protecting yourself. You shouldn't be posting certain pictures of where you are right before you leave on vacation. People watching you can be at your house because they know you're not there. So there's so many things that are involved in cybersecurity. And a lot of it has nothing to do with computers. It has to do with just, the wherewithal. That's just it.
Kind of common sense, but yeah, when we get complacent, I think we just trust.
Oh yeah.
It's a good human trait, but you got to be careful.
Yeah, yeah, you do, and some of the cybersecurity, people do have that understanding, and they're getting better with it. But in many cases now with AI being more pervasive, like like introducing anything technology wise, there's always a benefit and then there's always a detriment to society in general. AI is fantastic, but unfortunately, some people look at AI that are malicious and criminal. They're looking at AI, it's fantastic.
Right.
so
Yeah. Oh,
so
for sure.
so you have to like, it's that, it keeps coming, and it makes it even easier now, because one of the case I did a case study for one of my recent clients that I acquired, a recent client, and I told them about a situation where this company, an escrow company, they stay storing thousands of dollars, $900,000 in escrow, saving it there. And because they didn't train their people properly, they got taken for 2 million. They made 900 the first year and 1.3 million the second year. I forget the numbers. I'm fogging on the numbers, but basically when they came, they lost all of it. One was withdrawn to China, another one was drawn to a region in Russia. You were a successful
Gone.
business and your business is gone, taken over by the state of California because you didn't train your people about how to handle that. And it's not a question of if you're going to be compromised. It's a question of how often has it happened already? And if it's going to happen, are they going to take advantage of a situation in the next 3 to 6 months? We get
So,
comfortable.
yeah. What can people do to kind of get educated and to get up to speed and protect themselves?
Well, I offer initial consultations with businesses about free cybersecurity help. If you're an individual and you see me and we're in conversation and you ask me the question, I'll tell you straight up. Like, you don't need a consultation with me. If I'm at a meeting and you just asking just some simple questions, I can give you a couple of things, a couple of pointers about what you should be doing. Uh, but for businesses, I do initial consultation is free. I did a 1 hour consultation with a business. The only reason why I did 1 hour is because I worked for the organization years ago as a when I was much younger and I had actually had hair. Uh, so I did that and ran down everything that could possibly happen. And there was possible when it was possible that it could have been an insider threat or someone being lackadaisical with their password. But I offer those free services to start off with because a lot of times small businesses don't or think that is such an expensive thing, or they think that it can't happen to me. No, it can happen to you, and it probably will. It's only a matter of time. There's been so many breaches in the past 2 3 years that your information is out there. They're
Yeah.
just building a profile so that they can capitalize on whatever situation that comes to them. And I want to do my part to be able to help. Shoot, I could be compromised. And, don't think we're incapable. I mean, we have cybersecurity companies being breached. So,
Mhm. Oh, yeah.
no one's safe out here, man. No one's safe. So it's important. The best cybersecurity is when you take a hit and you can continue going. If you get attacked and it's like, okay, we were attacked and you can keep moving and without major casualties or anything like that. That's a robust program. It's not about not being hacked. It's being hacked and continuing to survive and continuing to be able to do business and move forward. That is the mark of a organization that has a good cybersecurity plan, because you have to have a plan. It's not just about just, oh, I have this software here and there. It's all about, and that's when we talk about risk management. This is something that should be linked with the C-suite, because if C-suite doesn't have buy-in into this, then your organization's done.
Yeah.
That's the biggest problem right there. A lot of times there's a thing called they call whale fishing. They're not
Mm.
spear fishing. They're whale fishing. That means they're coming after C-suite individuals, CEOs, CMOs, CFOs. They're coming after those individuals, and if they're not cybersecurity savvy, good luck for the whole organization. You
Well,
just got
yeah, and even that. I mean,
right.
I had mine taken. Uh, my information was hacked into through a Fortune 50 company that I worked for, as we were a division of big company, and they hacked into the big company's database and got thousands of
Mhm.
thousands of individuals' social security numbers and address and everything. And within 2 days, they had set up two credit card accounts and charged thousands of dollars on each one.
Ooh.
And and the company said, "Well, we've been breached. You should check your credit." And I was like, I wasn't checking my credit at that point. It's like, okay, so
Mhm.
I did, and I found out, yeah, there's accounts there that weren't mine, and there were thousands of dollars on them, and I was responsible for that.
Mm.
So it's like, whoa, what do I do? Well, it was an amazing journey that was such a pain. It took me 2.5 years. First of all, I had to call a police department and get fraud, file a fraud case. And
Mhm.
then I had to shut all my credit down. And then I had to go through about 2.5 years of getting my credit back up to where it should have been
Mhm.
because of that on my record.
Mhm.
And nobody had any sympathy. It's like, okay, this happened to
Oh
you.
well. Yeah.
Tough,
Things
suck it up,
happen.
buttercup. And, so now I spend the money every month on an ID protection and internet protection service that manages and watches everything. And anytime anybody, and I've had to shut down, create blocks and moats and things around me so that that doesn't happen again. It was so painful for me credit wise. At that point in my life, it was so important for me to have credit because I had a family and
Mhm.
traveling a lot, and I couldn't operate. So it was really, really hard. Definitely worth the time. And it sounds like that if you don't, as a business owner, if you don't understand today that you're fully protected and you don't know exactly what you've got,
Oh
you're
yeah.
not protected. You
Oh yeah.
need to call. You need to call and get yourself a consultation at EQL Consulting right now
Oh
because you don't. If you don't know exactly where you're at, you're at
yeah.
risk.
Oh yeah. You have to know. You have to know what assets you have. You have to know who has what. One of my clients is funny. It's funny. I did the course with one of my clients with her and her staff. She went away to I forget, it was like one of the islands or Mexico. I forget exactly the place. So she when she gets back, she tells me, "I'm sorry, Nate, I messed up." And I said, "What happened? What happened?" So she used the hotel Wi-Fi, and they ended up getting her credit card information and charging on it. And that was mild because a lot of times if you use credit card, they have fraud protection built in. So you can always call back saying that's not my charge and dispute it and you're good. So I
Right.
said, it's okay. It's all right. That's like minor, but you don't want to do that again. So one tidbit of information is free Wi-Fi is not free.
Right.
Free Wi-Fi, it's like finding candy on the floor. Honestly, oh, it's a cat. No, you don't know what kind of germs are there. It's free Wi-Fi. That means everyone has access to it. And there are people, and there you can even check up videos that people who go on those free Wi-Fi, they have a thing called a sniffer. They will basically pull all that information, and you're
Oh yeah.
basically telling
So
all your information out there, password, all that, your whole name, everything. Like there's so many types of exploits, and it's easy for them because there's a difference between cybercrime and crime in real time. There's an effort and there's a human component. If somebody has to go up to you and either take your purse or use some type of device, we know we're talking about, to come up to you, that takes a lot of effort and desperation for someone to do that, or you have to be really cold-blooded. If you're doing cyber crimes, there's no face.
yeah.
It's just Jim Miller from, you know, it's just you're just numbers. Well, it's just numbers. Nobody hurting from that. So it's easy for the same reason why when you watch TV and you see people who are internet trolling, They go online, they're saying all types of stuff about athletes. They don't see the athletes in real time. So they say whatever crazy stuff that they want because there's no human component. If that person had to face that athlete in real time, I think it'd be a different conversation. And
Mm.
that's what you find. The cybercrime, they're detached. They're detached from the human components. It's numbers. That's it. I'm just doing this. And it's getting easier because now you have to actually have less computer savvy or technical expertise to actually do cyber crimes. They're actually selling some of these, whether ransomware, stuff like that. Like you can buy Word or Microsoft Office 365. There's some places you can buy the stuff and then they'll just do it. But
Yeah.
why don't we try it?
Yeah. There's no risk. It's like
No.
easy to get into, and there's consequences, but it's hard to get caught.
Oh yeah. Especially if you're in another country. What are you gonna do? Extradite somebody for them,
Yeah.
taking 10 grand from you?
So the best offense is a good defense.
Yeah, actually, the funny part is the best offense is an offense and defense
Okay.
because nowadays when you're talking about endpoint protection, it's not just defense. They're actually like some of the software that I use, Sophos, it actually actively searches for exploits. It's in the network and everything like that. So you're actually attacking attackers at this point. You're attacking whatever it is. You're being offensive. Because defensive, you're just being stagnant. Now you have to be a bit offensive because with the exploits going into networks, they're kind of setting, they're creating backdoors in networks and they're just kind of sitting on it. They'll infiltrate a network and then they just sit there and wait for the opportune time.
Mhm.
Those are the type of things that they're trying to do. That's how they're trying to take advantage of people. They leaked 10,000 records, right? And nothing happens for the first 5 years so that you can just wait. They just have the information sitting there on a database. They're waiting for you to forget that they have your information and then rear its ugly head anytime and say, you know what, I'm gonna take advantage of this person now. It's time. It's time. We haven't built a profile. Let's do something with this. And for people who think, oh, well, I don't have no money for them to take, they can take my bills. They don't have to, sometimes they don't even need anything from you other than your profile. So they
Mm.
use your profile to hack somebody else, and then they come after you, and it wasn't you. It was someone else using your profile that was given out there in the dark web. So it's people.
Scary. It's good
It's
to have. It's good
aggressive.
to have somebody like you, Vincent,
Oh,
on our team.
I'm happy for it because I just think that you have to be aware and you have to protect yourself. And you know, going back to that whole thing about the scarcity mindset, um, a lot of times people fear uh, helping because they think that if I help, I'm not going to benefit. What's in it for me? There is enough for everybody. There is enough as far as financing, as far as clients or whatever customers. There's enough customers for everybody. The problem is people are inefficient. People are wasteful. So you'll buy something, they'll make more than they need, and then people will buy, and then there's waste. There's people who have 5, 6, 7, 8 houses. I'm only one person. I don't need all of that. I only have one family. I don't need all of that. So, as far as me, working with, other individuals, I have there's projects that come in. My ultimate goal, I really want to get into project management with this company so that we manage cybersecurity projects. I want to be able to work with other cybersecurity companies in this region because there's such a need for cybersecurity here.
Mm.
Went to one of the things that we did as a high school. Our cybersecurity teacher, he has an in, Mr. Chris Love. He has an in with CSUSB. We were able to go to a White House event at CSUSB, and it was amazing. But there's such a need for cybersecurity professionals in general in this country. I think there's 3 million openings for cybersecurity professionals, and it's
Wow.
like there's not that many companies out here in this region. In Southern California, there's not that many cybersecurity companies. There may be a lot of professionals working for big companies. Who's helping these small and mid-sized businesses who don't have a big budget? So when I work in a fractional, cybersecurity consultant space or CISO space, whatever the case is, I'm helping these small businesses, but I can't do everything myself. And I'm pretty sure a lot of these companies would like help because they only source like, we have an IT guy. That's not the same thing.
Yeah.
The IT guy just fixes the computers. He's not going to protect the computers. He may know some stuff about cybersecurity. He needs a team. You got one IT guy for 100 computers or 100. They're underutilized. I mean, they're overutilized actually, and they're under-resourced.
Yeah, I see that too. Fantastic. We're bumping up against an hour and 10, and so it's gone so fast.
Yeah.
I want to thank you for joining me. I have one last question. You got time for one more question?
Yeah, I got time.
Okay, awesome. I was curious to know the members that we've got and people that we talk to a lot are some of them searching for a purpose, to create a purpose-driven business or to have a life purpose. And I'm impressed with you, just chatting with you for this last hour, of how much purpose you exude purpose in what you're doing and how you're running your life. And I see it as an inspiration. What would you say to somebody who is looking for that now, and how would you help them to get really clear on a purpose for themselves and a business that matches that?
When I teach the Business Incubator, when I taught it last year and the year before, I always, granted, these students already have their idea of what their business is and what they want to do. So I don't want to change that because a lot of people intrinsically have kind of direction, more or less. It may not be hyper focused, but they have, goals. They have, ideas. They have passions. So if you have those, you'll kind of have a purpose, more or less. But when it comes to business, it's about taking all of those passions and kind of, redirecting, like kind of like when you have a magnifying glass and you're redirecting light so it's to be hyper focused to burn ants. We're not burning ants though. We want to be humane towards the ants. But I use the golden circle with Simon Sinek.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So it's your why. It's about answering questions about why. Why are you doing this? Why are you where you are? Like if you start the why, if you're talking about business or a career, your why. Why do you want to, when I ask the students what internship they want to go or business, why did you choose this business? And when you start peeling back the layers of the why, you start getting into their stories about what happened. Like one of our businesses, we had a student, she did this, it's like traditional Mexican snacks. And I was peeling back the layers, like, why are you doing that? Like, and then she went back to how she remembered how staying over her grandma's house with the rest of her cousins and her family and spending time and talking about like, how she just loved, spending time with her grandma. And so the business came from what type of environment, what type of purpose. So then when you have the why, you can go so far because your why doesn't stop. Your why doesn't worry about a balance sheet or how much money you make. Your why is your why. Like you'll do it for free. I've done things like I'll teach kids how to play basketball on a basketball court, or because I love basketball. That's my why. I don't have to get paid for that. So when I worked and I ran a basketball program, shoot, it was the greatest thing ever. I'm getting paid and I do this for free. Wonderful. I have to take care of my family. That's my why. I want to take care of my family the way it's supposed to based on the scriptures. That's my why. So when you get into your why, finding the business is going to be easy because you're driven by an internal that won't stop. And once you have that internal that won't stop, now it's just the extension of it. How are you going to do it? How are you going to do it? How is it different than anyone else? And then you get into the what. The what, everybody got the what figured out. I sell clothes, I sell this. That's the easy part. That why is the important part. And that's what makes some of these large companies extremely, extremely effective, is because at the core of it, whoever it was, the CEO or the founder or founder/CEO, their why was so powerful that it went across so many lines and people resonate with that why and they find their tribe. And that's why you look at a company like Apple and they release a new phone, that why, make that line wrap around the door. I went to Costco not too long ago and there were like, 100 people at the door at opening. I'm like, how is this possible? Do you guys go to sleep? Do you go like, what do you do? But Costco has a brand that exudes a why, and what they do, they care about. And whatever the case is, it resonates with those people who go there. And they know that when they go there, they're dedicated to that cause, and they want to shop there. So for anyone who wants to start their business, with what I do with my students, I talk to them, I find out what their why is. And once I find out what the why is, it makes things easier. And the kids that aren't as successful, they may have had a good idea, but they stay in their business because their why was strong.
Beautiful. That's fantastic. Well, thank you, Nathan. We have Florin Dumais, who's of course the founder of Bright Business, and the author of the Bright Business Project book. And I'd like to bring him on. Would you be okay with that?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. All right, cool.
Bring Florin on.
Here we go, Florin. I'll bring you on, and let's see if I can figure this out. Nope, that ain't it. That ain't it. Let's see. Where's that? Nope. Darn. I'm not working here. Let's see. I gotta add you the stage first. That's the ticket.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, Florin.
Sorry about that, guys. I'm usually better at this. Oh well.
No, you can leave it here.
Good.
Yeah. I think we should promote you.
There we go.
Nathan, because you're not, I cannot say.
I need an IT guy.
Only a cybersecurity guy, you are the why guy. Now listening to to your definition of purpose, like, wow, it's amazing. And you are exactly describing the ideal. When I was talking with, the other day with Jim about our members, who is our ideal group of people, which is our target, you are exactly that kind of person we're talking about. Not only a business owner, but a purpose-driven business owner, a purpose-driven entrepreneur.
Oh boy, I'll second that. Nathan's like just exudes the purpose. I mean, and I can tell just you have such enthusiasm for what you're doing, and it's such a delight to talk with someone who loves what they're doing, and then seeing the results of that, like the example you gave of the 3 businesses at the expo across the aisle that were your former students that were actually in business. And I mean, there's the proof in the pudding right there. You guys are making a difference, and so rewarding.
Yeah. By the way, Nathan, did you talk with Yvette Dubell?
Yes, we had a little conversation. I did speak to Yvette. Yeah, I went to one of the Bright Business meetings and I met her. And I actually met her through someone. Well, I was introduced to her or was told of her prior to me meeting her. And he said, "Oh, Yvette, you should talk to Yvette." And I was like, "Really? Okay. All right." And then happenstance, I ended up at that meeting and Yvette was there. Yeah. So it was a mutual thing.
I really want to invite you to join the Corona event this month. And Yvette is going to talk about the inner leadership a little bit and about the habits and things like this. And I think you and Don is another guest. But I really invite you to, you're not on the list, but I would like you to talk a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah,
I'd love
yeah,
to.
yeah.
I've been so busy with this expo that I haven't had much time to go to Corona. But yeah, I would love to. I would love to.
Yeah, I'll send you the dates. If it's not possible now, maybe next one, maybe in December.
Okay. No, sounds good. Sounds good. December, anything after November 15th, it's gonna ease up a whole lot for me.
Oh,
Other
okay.
than,
I think the one, I don't know. Let me check. When is the event in November? Because I really, okay, Bright Business. Corona is gonna be on November 20.
oh I can make that.
Okay.
Yeah, I can make that.
I can send you on LinkedIn the
Okay.
dates. And I really like to talk, and yeah, I would like you to join our community for first of all. But no matter what, I still like to invite you to our as a guest speaker and promote this. Probably even in December, if you can. I'll talk with Tsunami in Carlsbad. We're gonna have our monthly meeting in Carlsbad. This time at Herak Hub. And that tells you something.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's dedicated to women entrepreneurs mostly.
Mm.
And yeah, I think it would be a good opportunity for you to share your vision approach to the way you approach business. You're very very alike. You and I and Jim, we're kind of sharing the same way of how can I say, treating the business or defining the business. So.
Thank you. I mean, it's near and dear to my heart, and it's something that like it just comes from my values and making sure that it's just not about, a lot of times people kind of approach things a certain way, and it's like one-sided and tunnel vision. You have to kind of open your eyes a little bit to see what's going on, and that's why I try to approach it that way, because it's, you don't have to step on someone else to have success.
Right. We need more people like you, Nathan. In this world.
Yeah, there's enough divisive forces out there.
Yeah, exactly.
It's too much.
How can we multiply you? This is a challenge.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
right. Well, we're bumping up on an hour and 22 right now. So I think let's. Any final comments? Any thoughts?
I always encourage everyone is just be a better version of yourself every day, and you don't ever compare yourself to someone else. Compare yourself to yourself, and if you're a better version of yourself, then you're going in the right direction. And if you're not, find how to bring yourself back to becoming a better version of yourself. And I think I try to live by that.
Love it. That's why this month we are talking about inner leadership and current state where you are right now. This is kind of my approach. And the future state, the ideal state, is that best version of you. Yeah. And how you're gonna get from here to that point is the life, is the journey, probably the journey of life.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wonderful said. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
No, thank you. Thank you, Jim, for having me also.
Yeah, my pleasure. Great you guys are on. We're also getting some last minute folks on YouTube or LinkedIn popping in. Great episode. Mr. Vincent's points about entrepreneurship education for youth were spot on. So not sure who sent that in. It's a LinkedIn user, but glad you're here with us. Thank you for sharing your thoughts. And we're super happy that we're able to do this and have this media that we can bring in the conversation of purpose-driven lives and businesses. It's wonderful. So thanks, gentlemen. Hang on a second. I'm going to end the stream and we'll have a quick chat after this.
All right. Thank you.